Everyone thinks accepting a compliment is universal. Someone says something nice, you say, "Thank you, done deal." But here's the cultural minefield that'll blow your mind. How people respond to praise reveals the deepest psychological programming of entire civilizations. What looks like simple politeness is actually a complex cultural algorithm that determines everything from social hierarchy to personal identity, and getting it wrong can accidentally destroy relationships across continents. Let's dive into the compliment chaos that's happening right now across the globe. When someone tells an American "great job on that presentation," the response is usually some variation of "thanks, I worked really hard on it," followed by a mini biography of their achievement process. Americans treat compliments like trophies. They grab them, polish them, and display them proudly. The cultural DNA here is built on individual achievement validation, where accepting praise isn't just polite, it's practically patriotic. Meanwhile, hand that same compliment to someone from East Asia and watch the cultural gymnastics begin. A Japanese person will immediately deflect with something like, "No, it was nothing special," while internally cataloging every single flaw in their presentation. Chinese responses often involve redirecting credit to family, teachers, or luck, anything except personal ability. Koreans might accept the compliment, but then spend the next 10 minutes explaining why they don't deserve it, while simultaneously working twice as hard to prove they actually do. The European compliment landscape is like a cultural patchwork quilt of contradictions. Germans receive compliments with the efficiency of a business transaction. "Thank you, yes, this was expected outcome based on preparation." It's not arrogance. It's just cultural programming that treats compliments as data points rather than emotional gifts. Brits, on the other hand, have turned compliment deflection into an art form that would make Olympic gymnasts jealous. "Oh, this old thing?" becomes the automatic response to any positive feedback, even when they're wearing something they bought specifically to receive compliments. French compliment culture operates on this fascinating principle, where accepting praise too quickly suggests you lack sophistication, but deflecting it entirely suggests you lack confidence. The perfect French compliment response requires just the right amount of gracious acknowledgement mixed with subtle intellectual superiority. It's like verbal wine tasting: too eager and you're unsophisticated, too dismissive and you're uncultured. Let's talk about the Middle Eastern compliment dynamics, because this is where things get beautifully complex. In many Arab cultures, excessive praise can actually invoke protective responses against the evil eye, so compliment responses often include religious phrases or deflections to higher powers. When someone compliments your success, responding with "thanks to God" isn't just humility, it's psychological insurance against cosmic jealousy. The cultural wisdom recognizes that too much individual praise can attract negative attention from both humans and supernatural forces. Latin American compliment culture has mastered the art of gracious acceptance while maintaining social harmony. Mexicans might respond to compliments with warm gratitude but immediately redirect attention to family or community contributions. Brazilians have this incredible ability to accept praise while making the compliment giver feel equally special in return. It's like compliment ping pong, where everyone wins and social bonds get stronger with each exchange. The Scandinavian approach to compliments reveals their cultural obsession with equality and modesty. Swedes receiving compliments often respond with variations of "it was okay, I suppose," not because they don't appreciate the praise, but because standing out too much violates the cultural principle of lagom, or just the right amount. Norwegian responses often include immediate comparisons to others who did similar or better work, ensuring that individual achievement never overshadows collective contribution. Here's where the workplace dynamics get absolutely fascinating. American corporate culture has weaponized compliment acceptance as a career advancement tool. Employees are taught to receive praise gracefully and build on it strategically. "Thank you," and building on that success, I think we could also Doghook becomes a standard formula for turning compliments into opportunities. Japanese workplace compliment responses are masterclasses in hierarchical navigation. Junior employees deflect praise upward to seniors, middle management redirects credit to teams, and senior leadership accepts compliments on behalf of organizational harmony rather than personal achievement. The response isn't about the individual, it's about maintaining the social ecosystem that keeps everything functioning smoothly. The dating scene reveals how deeply compliment responses affect romantic dynamics across cultures. American dating culture encourages confident acceptance of compliments as a sign of healthy self-esteem. "Thanks, I do look amazing tonight," signals confidence rather than arrogance. But try that same response in Japanese dating culture and watch potential relationships evaporate faster than morning mist. Japanese romantic compliment responses require careful calibration. Too much deflection seems fake. Too much acceptance seems selfish. Korean dating has created this intricate dance where compliment responses must demonstrate both humility and self-awareness simultaneously. The perfect response shows you recognize your qualities while remaining modest about them, plus ideally includes some acknowledgement of the other person's good taste in noticing said qualities. It's like romantic chess played with words. British dating compliment responses have evolved into elaborate comedy routines where both parties understand that "you look terrible" means "you look amazing," and responding with genuine gratitude would actually awkward. The cultural programming requires turning every compliment into an opportunity for self-deprecating humor, which somehow makes the praise more meaningful than direct acceptance. The social media generation has completely revolutionized global compliment response patterns. Instagram culture has created this weird hybrid where people post content specifically designed to receive compliments, then respond to those compliments with false modesty that everyone knows is performance. The American, "Thanks, babe," response sits alongside Asian, "I look so ugly here," deflections in the same comment thread, creating this bizarre international compliment soup. TikTok has spawned an entirely new category of compliment response content where people from different cultures react to the same praise in their culturally programmed ways, then explain the cultural psychology behind their responses. It's like anthropological education disguised as entertainment, and it's revealing just how deeply our compliment response programming affects our daily interactions. Here's the controversial take that's going to ruffle some feathers. Western cultures that encourage confident compliment acceptance are actually creating better long-term outcomes for individual mental health and career advancement. Cultures that program automatic deflection might be prioritizing social harmony at the cost of individual development and self-advocacy skills. But here's the flip side that Western individualists don't want to hear. Cultures with compliment deflection programming often create stronger community bonds and more sustainable social systems. When everyone deflects individual praise toward collective achievement, it builds social infrastructure that supports everyone rather than just celebrating individual winners. The immigrant experience reveals the complexity of navigating between compliment response systems. Second-generation Americans from Asian families often struggle with internal programming conflicts. Their family culture taught them to deflect praise, but their professional culture rewards confident acceptance. The psychological tension of switching between compliment response modes depending on social context creates its own form of cultural exhaustion. International business has had to develop entire training programs around compliment response cultural differences. American executives learning to work in Asia get coached on appropriate deflection techniques, while Asian professionals entering Western markets learn strategic praise acceptance as a career skill. It's like cultural language immersion, but for emotional responses rather than vocabulary. The generational shifts are creating fascinating cultural evolution in real time. Younger generations globally are mixing compliment response styles, creating hybrid approaches that blend cultural programming with international social media influence. Korean Gen Z might deflect compliments traditionally in formal settings, but accept them confidently online, while American millennials incorporate self-deprecating elements they've learned from British comedy into their response patterns. The gender dynamics add another layer of complexity that varies dramatically across cultures. In some cultures, women are expected to deflect compliments more than men, while in others, confident compliment acceptance is seen as necessary for professional advancement regardless of gender. The intersection of cultural programming and gender expectations creates different compliment response requirements that people navigate daily without even thinking about it. Here's what's really happening. Compliment responses aren't just about politeness. They're cultural operating systems that determine how societies distribute validation, maintain hierarchies, and build social connections. Every thank you or deflection is actually a micro-decision about cultural values, individual identity, and social positioning. The future of global compliment culture is evolving toward conscious choice rather than automatic programming. People are becoming aware of their cultural compliment response patterns and learning to switch between different modes depending on context and desired outcomes. It's like becoming multilingual, but for emotional and social responses rather than vocabulary. If you enjoyed this cultural deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-bending cultural insights, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Which culture should I decode next? See you in the next one.